everybody. Really glad to be with you. Sorry I missed you last week. So I wanted to tell you about a whole bunch of things and make a couple of comments on a couple of things in the news that I'm sure you know about. But first, why don't I give you a couple of announcements? Hopefully you're going to be seeing this broadcast before September 23rd, because on Sunday, September 23rd, a pretty new group called Queers for Social Justice, which kind of comes out of the Queers for Free Speech movement, out of, all of the Pride stuff that's happened over the last couple of years. Anyways, this group is continuing to organize, Queers for Social Justice. You can find them on Facebook. And what they're doing is they're organizing a kind of a fun cafe on Sunday, September 23rd called Speed Dating for Activists. Now, this doesn't mean they're trying to set up activists together to go out. What they're hoping to do is to give queer activists a chance to sit down together and meet and talk about the amazing work that we are doing all over this city and all over the province, and indeed internationally, many of us involved in international causes. So on Sunday, September 23rd at 2 o'clock, from about 2 to 4:30, so even if you can't be there at 2, feel free to drop by. Join them at the 519 Church Street Community Center. And you'll get a chance to meet up with all sorts of other wonderful queer and trans folk who are doing great social justice work around the city. So it should be fun, and they're asking to bring a snack to share, so it's a little potluck in the old-time sense of social justice work. And also, if you would like, if you know someone who is deaf or hard of hearing and would like to attend, there's also instructions on the Facebook page around arranging an ASL interpreter. So yeah, check it out. Queers for Social Justice Cafe, Sunday, September 23rd at the 519 Church Street Community Center at 2 o'clock p.m. Should be fun. I also wanted to tell you about an event coming up, a group that I'm a member of called Economic Inequality. And not that we're fighting for economic inequality, we're actually fighting for equality, more equality for all in Canada. We've got a big forum coming up on Thursday, September 27th. It's taking place at 7 p.m. at Steelworkers Hall. That's 25 Cecil Street, but I'll give you the website so that you can get this information. We have Ed Broadbent, former leader of the federal NDP party. He's coming in to talk that evening about an action agenda for equality. Ed is now the head of the Broadbent Institute, and they have recently put together a report about what we need to do in this country to create a more equal society, and that's what the group I'm with has been fighting for. We've been organizing forums over the last year, actually, ever since the Drummond report in Ontario about budgets and that kind of thing. So I want to invite you to attend that, come be part of that discussion, hear Ed's ideas, and also talk with other people who are concerned about economic equality and the level of inequality in our society. For more information about this, you can go to www.economicinequality.ca, and we'll put that up on the screen for you. It's a wheelchair accessible space, and as I say, all are invited. We hope to have a really good discussion and hammer out some ideas for how we can continue to work to make really to influence politicians, to get them to implement more progressive policies that will see the income inequality in our society, which has been just, that gap between rich and poor has been growing and growing over the last couple of decades, and we want to see that shrink, and we think it can be done, even in these times of what they call austerity, and where they say that they don't have enough money. We believe that there is enough money, and there's ways to create revenue for our governments in order to support poor and marginalized people much better than we do now. I also wanted to just say briefly to share with you some sad news. Many of you will know the activist Arlene Mantle. Arlene was an amazing singer. I'm sad to say that she passed away after struggling with many health problems over the last few years. She passed away on September 10th, 2012. And Arlene Mantle was also known as Sage. She was an amazing singer and labor activist feminist, queer activist, single mom, poor woman whose voice just rang loud and clear. And her children have done a wonderful memorial to her on Facebook. You will be able to find it if you search Arlene Mantle, but they will also be planning a memorial for her in the coming days and weeks, and I'll make sure to let you know about that. Just an amazing woman, and someone that I admired very, very much, and it's a real loss for our community. And so lastly, I wanted to talk with you about the recent Blue Jays scandal. So you will have heard of the young man, Mr. Escobar, who came out on the field. He's one of the Blue Jays player. He came out on the field, and they wear eye black under their eyes to prevent the sun from shining in their eyes. And he wrote on his eye black, "Tu eres American." And that loosely translates. There's been some argument about how it translates, but people who know, who are experts on Cuban culture, where he's from, and also Spanish language experts, say that what he's had written under his eyes was "You are a faggot." And I think he counted on not being caught, but somebody sitting in the stands who really admires this player and likes him was taking some close-up shots and put those photos up. When he saw what was written there and asked a couple of friends what this meant, he was pretty shocked and put this up on YouTube and other places, and it came to the attention of the media. So we've had a huge firestorm over that, a lot of controversy over, what he had under his eyes. Was it meant as an insult? Was it homophobic, etc.? Clearly, it was homophobic. Yes, it is common, we know, in sports clubhouses and on teams and in locker rooms, in high schools and everywhere else, for young men to trade these kinds of insults with each other, to call each other girls if they want to put each other down, to call each other faggots, and they may take it as a joke, but the fact is it's not a joke. It's harmful, it's very disrespectful, particularly in the city of Toronto, where we have such leadership and such a positive atmosphere and such a huge gay, queer, and trans community. For him to be putting this on anywhere on his body, or to be engaging in this kind of language and behavior. Hoping that you don't get caught is no excuse. Doing this in a way that only a few people will see it, or at least you hope only a few people will see it, is no excuse. And I think, more serious and more concerning than the fact that this young man thought that he could do that is that his teammates, his managers, coaches, everyone else who were close to him that day saw this under his eyes, could read it under his eyes. Many of the players and coaches and managers with the Blue Jays are Spanish speaking. They would know what that meant, and yet nobody challenged him on it. They let him go out on the field, they let him wear this, and until they were caught, they wouldn't have said anything about it. This is the only thing that we can conclude. This is shameful. Toronto, our hockey team, has a coach who has been a leader in coming to pride parades, in speaking out against homophobia and heterosexism. That's Brian Burke, because of the fact that his son came out as gay. Tragically, he died in a car accident shortly after he did. So we have leadership on one sports team, and then on another we have, not only do we not have leadership, we seem to have the condoning of out-and-out homophobia by one of their players. They had a press conference yesterday where we got the same kind of non-apology we often get in these kinds of things. If I offended anybody, I certainly am sorry. Well, Mr. Escobar and managers and management of the Blue Jays, you did offend somebody. You offended all of us. And you knew that you were offending all of us. No one in 2012 can throw around, "You are a faggot, that's so gay," step up little girl to a grown man, without knowing that this is sexist, heterosexist, and homophobic. And they've suspended him for 3 days. A lot of people feel this isn't enough. I'm not a huge fan of marginalizing or banning people who are homophobic. I think actually when people display that kind of behavior, we have to draw them in, not chase them away. We need to talk with them. We need to get into some effective education. But this is not Mr. Escobar's problem only. This is all of his teammates, his managers, his coaches. They all need some education about homophobia. They all need to understand the impact of their behavior on particularly their young fans, particularly young fans who are thinking about their sexuality, who are confused about their sexuality. These kinds of words chase kids back into the closets, and they embolden the bullies and the haters who beat up on those kids and who bully them in our hallways of our schools every day. And we can't have these people who make a lot of money, are touted as examples and people to look up to. We need more than "if I offended someone, I'm sorry," and for his manager to be saying, "We don't allow this in the clubhouse." Well, you did allow it in the clubhouse. Clearly you allowed it in the clubhouse. This is the tip of the iceberg, obviously. And so I say, banning Mr. Escobar, docking him $90,000, folks, for 3 days' pay. I think that's almost as outrageous, actually. But anyways, this is not enough. Obviously, this team needs some sensitivity training. They need to have a good talking to by people who can work with them to change those kinds of attitudes. And so I think, and until that happens, the fans of the Blue Jays need to make their voices known about this. They need to let the managers and the coaches and the rest know what they think about this. And the good thing out of all of this is that when they've been talking to fans on the news, most people that they've interviewed have said that they are shocked by this, that it's not acceptable, that in Toronto and particularly in 2012, that this kind of behavior has to stop. So that's a good thing. Let's hope that Mr. Escobar and the Blue Jays, the rest of the Blue Jays team gets that message and acts on that, so that not only do we not see that kind of thing happening, but they actually actively take steps to stop this and to really address this kind of bullying. So, that's the news. There's lots more. We've got our mayor in Chicago. We've got our mayor using city funds to coach his football teams, his assistants. We've got a report in the Globe and Mail today saying he's also calling up the city in the summer, asking them to do repair work around his home or around his business in time for a 50th anniversary. Folks, we've got a mayor who thinks that this city is his own personal business, that he can, and he's treating it the way I assume he runs his business, and we need to be very, very concerned about that. But more on that next week. All right, thanks a lot. Take care.